Today the readings talk about how easily the four said yes to follow Jesus. And in the first reading, Jonah says yes to God that he will deliver the message to Nineveh, that they need to change their ways. But he's disobedient and he takes what you would call the scenic route. He went the opposite way. Instead of going to Nineveh, he got on a boat and tried to get away, and the whale brought him back to where he needed to be. But only after a days of preaching, the people repented. And so they said yes, that they would change their ways, just like the four apostles said yes to Jesus right away. And I was thinking that, sometimes people say yes to Jesus right away without even any question, or they just left everything and followed Jesus. And I was thinking about, what about the people that struggle with a yes? Maybe not from the beginning, but even in the middle of their journey, they struggle. What about those people? Study shows that during the time of losing someone, losing your loved one, is a time that you're vulnerable. During the time of illness, maybe during the time of separation, maybe when people divorce or something like that, they're vulnerable. And why would they be vulnerable during those times? Maybe because they feel that God has abandoned them and things didn't go accordingly. And I was thinking about our Deacon John Limon. When he passed, his brother didn't set foot in the church for well over a year. And I was thinking, how can we reach those people that during those difficult times in their lives, they suffer what we might call spiritual dryness. And we're there for them, let's say a rosary or whatever, a meal, but then, we kind of leave them on their own, and for them to continue their own journey. And so I'm thinking that it's our responsibility as a community to continue to stay in touch with those people and try to support them in any way that we can, so that they won't experience that spiritual dryness. And when I talk about spiritual dryness, I talk about people like Sister Teresa, who suffered they call it the dark night of the soul, John of the Cross. And you wonder how, both of them saints, how did how did they ever come to suffer the dark night of their souls? Sister Teresa, you know, she got to meet St. John Paul II. And all those dignitaries, and you wonder how is it possible for someone like her to suffer spiritual dryness? Yet she talks about it. She suffered for something like 40 years. And when I had, I contacted that RSV virus, and so I was hospitalized for a couple of days. And on one of the nights, I suffered what I would relate to a little bit of the spiritual dryness. For I had some visions of the end of life and end of life suffering, and the end of life suffering was kind of gruesome, to put it mildly. And that's what got me to thinking about some of the people in our community that get lost and they can't come back to church for one reason or another. And I said, well, why? You know, what could possibly be happening to them? And I would imagine that spiritual dryness is different for everybody. It's not the same, you know. But I think it's truly a responsibility that we have to follow up and support those people that lose a loved one, that maybe go through an illness, separation. Sometimes we, you know, life is so busy and so fast that we probably don't even get a chance to mourn sometimes the loss of someone. I remember when I lost my daughter, about 2 weeks later, you know, I had to do a service at the same funeral home where my daughter was, and so things just kept happening, one thing after the other, and you know, life is fast. You don't even get to mourn. So you know, so some of these people, we just, you know, we may help them out with a rosary, but then, you know, we cut them off, and not on purpose, but you know, we just forget about them and let them continue their journey. So I think there's a need for us to look into how it is we can continue the support of somebody, not just you know, they're at the funeral home, at a funeral mass or whatever, but have a continual relationship with them, and keep tabs on those people, for we don't know what they are going through. You know, Marie's husband hasn't been able to come to church since Marie Luna passed away, and you know, he probably struggles with that, you know, a little bit of spiritual dryness or whatever it may be. So I think, you know, we have to open our eyes and look into that for those that are part of our community. And I think I'm kind of fortunate that I have the spiritual life that I have, and the spiritual dryness that that I went through wasn't, didn't affect me a whole lot, but it opened my eyes to the fact that we do need to look around and look at our brothers and sisters and see where we might be of support to them. And I know that, you know, as families, we've all lost a loved one, and we all move on in our different ways, in our own ways. But I think we have to always remember that there's some people out there that can't continue their journey without support, without our support. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and hopefully that as a community we can learn to support our brothers and sisters here, and not only here at Holy Family, but wherever our ties may be, and with whoever our ties may be. Amen.
Amen.